let's go over the first trade I took today. Going into market open, I was pretty bullish. We just had a massive move down with no retest whatsoever. So I was expecting a retest. And off market open, we had this candle tap into this 4-hour fair value gap on NASDAQ, and we made an S&P on ES. So that kind of confirmed that we were going higher, at least for the moment. Now, we eventually ended up tapping this line, which is a 1-hour intermediate high inside a 4-hour gap. And then we saw rejections out of it on NASDAQ. We inversed this 5-minute gap, and we inversed a 15-minute gap right here. So once I saw that, I waited for a retracement, and we got it into this 5-minute gap. And once I saw that, I went down to the 1-minute, and I simply just waited for a inversion or break structure, which we got an inversion right here. Boom, inverse, and I took a trade lower. Entry right here, stop loss at the high of this candle, and I got break even on this trade. Boom, trade number 1. Okay, trade number 2, same idea. This trade should have been invalid, and I took it anyway. I should not have been taking this trade. We had already tapped into this gap and got delivery out of it. That pretty much invalidates this gap if we already hit our criteria, if we already hit our target off of that gap. There's a reason I put a break even where I did. It's because if we reject out of this gap and then come and take this low and then reject off this low, it means we're going higher. And for some reason, I wanted to take another short after we tap back into this gap, taking out this intermediate high, and then obviously inversing and breaking structure off this candle with displacement. So I took another short, and what do I get? I get stopped out immediately after. Okay, that's trade 2. So now I'm down around $500. And immediately after that, of course, I was long on the day, and ES was looking very bullish. So what did I see? Well, I saw ES, of course, looking very bullish. We got this higher high, higher low right here. And then we came up, delivered out of this 15-minute gap. Came up, made this a 5-minute high right here, and tapped into equilibrium. Once I saw that, I just waited for a 1-minute order flow to be reversed, which was on this candle that I got stopped out on. So I immediately flipped positions here and flipped indexes and took this right here. Now, I sized down on this trade and targeted a higher RR. I was targeting this high up here. And unfortunately, this would have been my first take profit right here. Second, third, these are my take profits for the day off this trade. And I could have taken profit right here because we had about a 1-to-1. I think my entry was a little lower because I know we had a 1-to-1 right here. But since I took that first loss, I decided to go break even right here and not take a 1-to-1. That ended up costing me money. Now, I only lost $400 today. However, I lost $500 on this previous trade I just took right here. And why did I lose $400 and not 500? Well, because I accidentally put 10 micros into this trade, and then I tried to sell 5 since I realized I over leveraged. And instead of selling 5, I bought 5. And as soon as I bought 5, we pushed up into profit, so I sold those 10 right away. It all happened within seconds right away, and I made about $70. So this wasn't greatly executed at all. In fact, I liked this trade. It was a good trade, don't get me wrong. Poor execution. This trade was a bad trade, good execution. This trade was a good trade with good execution and good management. I got stopped at a break even. This trade had good management. This trade even had good management. There wasn't much I can do after I put my stop loss here. I'm out. So I had a good trade right here, got stopped break even. Bad trade right here. This one was invalid. Good trade right here. I definitely overtraded today because I took another trade on NASDAQ at like 130. Yeah, right here. Terrible. terrible freaking setup. We were just chopping around, and I don't know how I could not see that. We were clearly just chopping around, and you know, I FOMO'd in, whatever you want to call it. I just didn't want to have another losing day. So what did I do? I entered and immediately went into drawdown. Thought I was going to lose. Of course, I didn't. Luckily, um, this was just completely breaking my rules. I'm not gonna call this a good trade because even though my confluence aligned, we were just chopping around. This is terrible price action. I should not have been in this trade at all. And I understood that mid trade. I realized, okay, this price action sucks. We are going nowhere. So as soon as I came into profit, I put my stop at break even. Eventually got break even on this candle right here. And yeah, so I got lucky, super lucky on this trade. Obviously, I knew where price was going. I knew Nasdaq wanted these equilibrium and this high at least, and I just didn't know how I wanted to get there. Obviously, my job is to react in order to enter, but to predict high time frame. I want to predict the high time frame and react to the lower time frame. That is my job. That is what I'm trying to do. I did a poor job of it here. Poor job of reacting. But I did a great job of predicting. Now, if we don't align those together, it's unlikely that we're going to be profitable on the day. However, not every day I'm going to predict where price is going. That is why the reactionary aspect of trading is the most important. You're not going to have the right daily bias every single day or every single week. You need to learn how to react. Reaction is key. Obviously, I did a poor job of that today. I was super emotional, clearly, because I took 4 trades, and 2 of them were terrible trades, terrible execution, terrible trades in general. But the market made me pay, and it could have been a lot worse. So I'm super lucky. Anyway, bias was right. I should have stuck to it. Should have trusted it, especially seeing ES being so bullish and not inversing this gap, or not even getting close to inversing this gap on ES. In fact, we never even closed below equilibrium. So, yeah, I just didn't trust myself today. I was more focused on the numbers than my process and my plan, and that is exactly why I lost. Take it from me, stick to your plan. All right, guys, I'll see you either tomorrow. I think I might do a weekly cap tomorrow. On Sunday, I'll do a little look ahead for the week upcoming, and then we'll be trading Monday in my live Discord. It's free. It's brand new. Join up. There'll be a lot of sauce. There's really no one in it right now, so I'll be answering any questions you guys have, anything like that. Yeah.